No, at least they've won a game recently, more recently in the league than Liverpool have.
Just sack the man now.
They can't. It's too expensive. That's why they haven't sacked him. It's
the inevitable though.
Hello and welcome back to the Off the Crossbar podcast with myself, Regan, Walsh, and as always, my co-presenter, Bradley Morris. How are you on this Monday afternoon, Brad?
That'd be better.
Yeah, I mean, things are starting to look up for us people here in the United Kingdom, unless you're a Liverpool fan.
Well, technically, aren't they still? Technically, they are looking up. They're looking up how far away they are from the top.
Well, yes, but it seems like political news just respite. Second, that we are coming out of this sort of lockdown in the next few weeks, so that's good news for us. But speaking of the Liverpool looking up, it was again another defeat for Jurgen Klopp's side, this time at the hands of Merseyside rivals Everton in a game that finished 2-0 to the Toffees, which handed them their first win at Anfield since the 1990s, I think it was, did they say?
But it was 99.
Yes, 999, and the goals were scored by Richarlison and a Gylfi Sigurdsson penalty 7 minutes from time that wrapped up the win for Carlo Ancelotti's side to move them level on points, with Liverpool having played a game less. So we'll get onto the penalty incident in a few minutes, but for Richarlison was a beautiful pass from James Rodriguez. You got to say, Kabak's defending for it was really bad.
Yeah. Early signs are that he's going to take a while to get used to the league, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing he's on loan.
But yeah, I think he just, I don't even think that should be really something that takes long to get used to. That's just basic defending, I think.
You'd be surprised. But obviously, Timo Werner said this as well. There's a bit of a difference in the pace and the physicality of the Premier League to the Bundesliga.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There is a massive difference, and you can see it if you watch both leagues on a regular basis at the weekend. But for me, I think he could have done better. And then the way Richarlison sat down both... no, that wrong game, sorry. I was thinking of a different game. He slots it past Alisson quite comfortably, and then 20 minutes later or so, Jordan Henderson has to go off with an injury. He seemed to have pulled his groin, so there was injuries. So Nathaniel Phillips came on. Henderson did try to give it a go again, but lasted about 10 to 20 seconds, and then had to go off.
He plays for Liverpool this season. That's just not going to happen.
Yes. So Nathaniel Phillips came on to make it, I believe, their 18th different centre-back partnership that Liverpool have had this season.
They've had more different centre-back pairings than Villa have had players play for them, I think, this season.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that's only one less than West Brom have scored this season, if we want to put it into that context. But yeah, then 7 minutes from time, Everton were awarded a penalty after... Who was brought down now? I can't remember if I can remember.
It was Calvert-Lewin.
Yes, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, after a lovely through ball towards him, and from Richarlison, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold comes across Calvert-Lewin and takes him out, and then a penalty is awarded, though Chris Kavanagh does go to the VAR to check it, but it was 100% a penalty, and the right decision was made there, which Sigurdsson stepped up and slotted it bottom corner past Alisson, so easy penalty there. What were your thoughts on that penalty?
I'd say, now that I've slept on it, yes, it's understandable that it's a penalty, but it's completely unintentional.
Yeah, but like I said to you the other day, the ruling of intent in football has now been taken out, whether he meant to do it or not. the fact that he did do it means it is a penalty. So that's where it's changed how the ruling has gone. Because before, obviously, you would say he didn't actually intend to do it. He's just, as he's slipped over, he's stuck his leg up and he's hit into Calvert-Lewin. So that's why
it wasn't even his leg, was it? He Calvert-Lewin's obviously gone for the ball, and his momentum was just he ran into Alexander-Arnold, who's obviously got up from the tackle, and he's ended up falling over.
Yeah. Well, on the first looks, I thought it was given because Alisson took out Calvert-Lewin's legs rather than the incident being with Trent Alexander-Arnold. But either way, penalty was given. Though I did see something afterwards saying that because of that, and you remember the David Luiz incident against Wolves a few weeks ago, how David Luiz saw red for the minimal contact. Apparently, Trent also should have seen red for that. So I'm surprised that the Matt Stockley Park didn't recommend the referee send him off, because I don't think he actually got booked for the incident at all. No, he didn't.
If you'd seen how long the referee actually spent looking at the decision on the monitor, then you would realise why barely anything was done.
Yeah, he wasn't even booked for it, so it's quite strange, to be fair, how Chris Kavanagh didn't book him or even send him off for that incident. Elsewhere this weekend, we had the big game.
Are we really going to skate over the massive crisis happening with Liverpool as a whole?
I mean, I feel like we've talked about it quite a lot now. I mean, that's...
This one felt like even more of a seismic moment.
Yeah. I mean, that's now 4 league defeats in a row, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yeah.
Four leagues defeats in a row in the place where they've only scored twice in these 4 games. They've scored once at home in 2021 in the league. I mean, there is a massive crisis going on at Anfield and Liverpool in general.
They've gone from thinking, okay, we probably aren't going to retain the title this season, to now having the main question be, are they even going to finish in the top 4?
And with how the other teams, there's 2 teams above them and Everton below them are performing, I'm going to say I don't think they will get top 4 at this rate.
It's looking bleak, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they really are going to be hoping that Man City win the Carabao Cup so they can get into the the Europa Conference League, which starts next summer.
I don't think the teams will actually qualify for that from this season.
No, it is this season. I had a look. Yeah, I looked.
Villa in Europe, boys.
I looked over the weekend, and how it works is obviously the top 4 still go the Champions League. 5th place goes to the Europa League, and it's the Carabao Cup winners that get the place in the Europa Conference League. But should that then be won by Man City, for instance, this season, it will then go to 6th place.
See, I thought that was going to be from next season, but
yeah. So the top
surely 7th will still become available.
No, it's the top.
Even if all the FA Cup winners didn't.
Yeah, it's the top. So in the top 4 or 5 UEFA coefficiencies, which is England, Germany, Italy, Spain, and I think maybe Portugal, they only have 1 team in this Europa Conference League. It's basically the lesser nations have more teams, so I think 3, and the higher up you are in the UEFA coefficiency, the less teams you get into it. Apart from Liechtenstein, who only have 1 team in it because they don't have a professional league.
I'll look more into it for myself, but I've been saying we need more teams from Liechtenstein in European competitions.
I mean,
we need more Litex Lovexes.
I mean, that's a whole different conversation talking about Liechtenstein football, but
we need more Astanas in European competitions.
That's Kazakhstan, not Liechtenstein.
I knew what I was saying.
Okay. The other big game that took place over the weekend was on Sunday.
You clearly want to really skip along Liverpool, but I have another point on this because
you've got enough. Okay, I'll let you finish on.
It's a big issue. I feel like we've not covered it. There's different details every week coming out from this.
Yeah, but we spoke about them in depth enough, surely.
Some of them are blaming Thiago now.
No, it's no way Thiago's fault. You can't blame one player for this massive downfall. It's the whole, like I said the other week, the lack of willingness to change the system and change how they play is, I think, what's really hurt them this season, because you can't be afraid to change up how you play, because they just seem to want to play the same way week in, week out, where teams have found them out, and it's we came to the point now where you're like, we know what to expect from Liverpool, and that's how teams have been able to counter them, and they don't look as good, because if you don't change your ideas, within 2 minutes everyone knows how you play and what your end goal is trying to be. So for me, like I said last week, they need to figure out a way to change it about and look at performing differently, whether that's playing a different formation or different players in a different setup is, I think, something that Klopp and his team need to have a look at, because otherwise, like we said, this massive patch could continue a bad run of form in the league.
Yeah. And now I will let you skip.
Right. So the other big game that's taken place over this weekend was on Sunday at the Emirates Stadium between Arsenal and Manchester City, and it took only 90 seconds for City to score thanks to a Raheem Sterling header. City dominated the game.
It's only in 1-0. So
I,
boring.
yeah, I was expecting a lot more from City in this game, to be honest. I mean, like, when it went that 1-0 so early, I thought, oh, this is going to be an onslaught from Man City. They'll score about another 2 or 3 in the first half, and we get maybe 1 or 2 more in the second half. But the fact that it just stayed 1-0 for the rest of the game, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, the result means for Man City, they go back to being 10 points clear at the top, whilst Arsenal are in 10th place with 34 points. We said it the other day, safe to say the trophy is City's now, isn't it?
18 wins in a row. Freaks of nature.
Yeah. I genuinely think this might be the best Man City team there's been.
I'd argue it's also the weakest total challenge around them. We started off by saying it was all close, but no one's touching them right now.
Yeah. The only way this, like we said in the past, this gets close is if Man City themselves slip up.
Yeah.
Because if they don't slip up, then it's going to be wrapped up pretty early for them. Then second place, Manchester United played afterwards, and they won 3-1 against Newcastle. Goals from Marcus Rashford, Dan James, and a penalty from Bruno Fernandes gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side the 3 points, though Alan St. Maximin did score for Newcastle. My view on the penalty, I don't think it was actually a penalty. I think Rashford's really gone looking for that.
That wouldn't be surprising, would it? United getting a penalty they shouldn't have got.
Yeah, but
that's original.
That one definitely for me wasn't a penalty.
It's a joke.
I don't know how it was given by VAR. I don't even know what to say for that one. It really wasn't a penalty at all. But it's very strange that was given and not overturned. What?
Because I need to know now what Dan James is having in his coffee lately.
Well, I think he said after the game that he's been working a lot with the coaches recently just to get back to his previous best of like how he was performing.
What was that?
When he was at Swansea, and not just getting too worked up about situations, which is good for him, because I still want him to have a future at Man United. There was a lot of people talking in the summer how he should be one of those that United get rid of, and even in the January transfer window just gone, I was like, no, he needs more time. And he did have a difficult first season, coming obviously with the passing of his father as well, which isn't ever easy for someone to deal with. But yeah, it's good to see him finally starting to shine. And it's last substitute that they brought on, Shola Chorriteria, I think it's pronounced.
Is that how you
Was
say it?
I'm just going to go with that. Was born in 2004. He's literally just turned 17 the other week and signed his first professional contract as well.
It's disgraceful.
How is 2004 17 years ago?
I was 8.
Oh my god! I was 6 at the time in 2004. Well, 5 going on 6. I just feel 2004 was 17 years. That is.
Are we old?
Yeah.
Are we
When-
boomers?
When someone born in 2004 is playing in the Premier League, you are now old. But yeah, good win for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side. Managed to keep up the we'll say attack on the title race.
If we're calling this a roller coaster, we need to make sure Dan James is of the right height requirement.
Yes. There was a little scare though before the kick-off, whether the game would go ahead, because there seemed to be a tiny breakout of COVID at the Old Trafford, or not at Old Trafford, at the Carrington training ground. That meant some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coaching staff couldn't be on it, and Mark Dempsey and Nicky Butt were called up to the bench to help out Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But obviously, as far as I'm aware, no players have been affected by it. So that is good news, and we obviously wish those that have been a speedy recovery. Elsewhere on Sunday, the early kickoff took place at the London Stadium between West Ham United and Tottenham Hotspur. And it was an emphatic start for West Ham, who scored after 5 minutes thanks to Mikel Antonio. He put David Moyes' side 1-0 up, and then just after half-time, Jesse Lingard doubled the Hammers' lead.
Sorry, I still can't get used to this.
I mean, and then shortly after the hour mark, Lucas Moura scored for Tottenham, but it wasn't enough. They did have chances late on in the second half, but couldn't find an equaliser. And I mean, I'm just going to say it here. What did I say in the preview show on Thursday? I called it perfectly.
You said he would Millie rock, and he didn't Millie rock.
Yeah, but he did. He brought out a dance band with the rest of the team.
The one made Pablo Fornell smile.
I mean, apart from it not being a 90th minute winner, I did call this game bang on, which I'm take full credit for. I said Lingard would score the winner. He did. I said West Ham would win 2-1. They did. I mean, the Hammers are now up to 4th place in the Premier League on 45 points. What on earth is going on with them?
I mean, Goal and Solomon were right though, weren't they?
I just...
They said they'd get them to Europe.
Yeah, but did we ever think that was genuinely going to happen?
Of course not.
And with David Moyes as the manager as well.
See, David Moyes would have took Man United to the promised land
if he was given more time. But I mean, yeah, this is really emphatic. I think the Athletic were reporting this morning that if West Ham do get a European place for next season, then they get 10 million in bonuses, I think it was.
Wait, is that the players?
Yes.
Oof, doesn't sound...
No,
stuff like that, you have to be quite funny with, don't you?
Yeah. It's one of them where I think it's like written in their contract as like it's a big if you get into Europe, but obviously I don't think anyone was expecting them to do how well they are doing. But
imagine West Ham in the Champions League.
Jesus Christ! I mean, nice enough stadium for it, but it would seem weird. However, we have to talk about the opposition. Obviously, Tottenham Hotspur. They're another team that are joining Liverpool on this bad streak.
No, they're worse.
No, at least they've won a game recently, more recently in the league than Liverpool have.
Just sack the man now.
They can't. It's too expensive. That's why they haven't sacked him. It's
the inevitable there. We know this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll start realising it.
Yeah, I think they might do, but they have to wait because I think if they sack him now, it would cost them close to £40 million to sack him and pay off his compensation.
Well, they'd have learned a great lesson.
Yeah, don't give a man that much fucking money. But yeah, I mean, they're in 9th place at the minute, Tottenham, 36 points. I mean, admittedly, they are 2 points better off than Arsenal and have played a game less than the Gunners, but
That's fine then.
I mean, that's the only thing that's keeping Tottenham fans happy at the minute, is that they're still above Arsenal. I mean,
They were going to win the league 3 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, the next 3 fixtures aren't too bad. I mean, they've got Burnley this weekend and then Fulham and Crystal Palace in the league before the North London derby mid-March. But it's really not looking good for Jose Mourinho's side at all this season, is it?
They're not exactly progressed.
No.
They've gone backwards, if anything.
Yeah, they've gone massively behind in terms of their progress from last season and even under Pochettino's final season, like final full season, obviously. Yeah, credit to where it's due to West Ham, really flying at the minute, and really, I think probably the biggest shock of the season. Then the final game that was played.
West Ham beating Tottenham is the biggest shock of the season.
No. I mean, West Ham being in the top 4 is the biggest shock of the season.
It's a good 10 now. I'd have to draw up all the conclusions, but
I think it is. I don't think anyone would have at the start of the season. No one in the world would have said West Ham would be top 4 by the second last weekend in February. No one on the world would have said that.
No, I guess not.
The final of the game on Sunday saw a battle between East Midlands and West Midlands. Aston Villa played Brendan Rodgers' Leicester City at Villa Park, and Villa had to contend the game without Jack Grealish and Matty Cash, who have both been ruled out with injury. Jack Grealish is out for up to 1 month. How long's Matty Cash ruled out for?
Don't believe that article at all.
Why?
Do not believe that month thing, because comment that Smith said himself is that they're assessing him and he may possibly be back for Leeds.
Which is
next week.
Oh. Well, the way this
still
news...
pain.
Yes.
Just pain.
The way this news apparently came out, people knew he was injured. Was some Aston Villa players took him out of their fantasy Premier League team.
There was a Twitter account, bro. He's quite trusted. I'm trying to use the right word. Not trusted. He'd put something out, and then everyone bombarded him with abuse because he just wouldn't release the proof. So there was days everyone saying, "Oh, he's lying, bullshit." Or watch when he's in the meltdown, and then a couple of hours before kick-off, it's revealed.
Yeah. Again, the Athletic were talking about this morning that it was someone in the Villa squad. Obviously, like I was saying, they have their fantasy Premier League team, and then they've seen that, or they obviously know Jack's not going to play this weekend. They've taken him out of the squad before the fixtures, and then that someone's obviously cottoned onto it, and then that's how they knew he wasn't going to play this week. Well, yeah, I mean, I have him in my squad at the minute, so.
Yeah, so I actually subbed out Gundogan, so Gundogan will go Vane anyway.
I think I might have to add Gundogan into my one. But yeah, Leicester City ran out 2-1 victors thanks to goals from James Maddison and Harvey Barnes in the opening 25 minutes for Brendan Rodgers' side. However, Bertrand Traore did pull one back for Villa early on in the second half. I think when I saw that go 2-0, I thought, oh, this could be a long afternoon for Aston Villa.
I panicked horrendously. But that second half was an improvement.
Yeah, it just seemed to be a total different Villa team in that second half, and definitely a much better and stronger performance to stop Leicester from scoring again.
The best word to define us without Grealish is that old Kasavid. He makes an okay team a beast.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, without Jack Grealish, it's going to be a... Wow, if it is the month, I'm just saying if, then
It
it's going
wouldn't
to be...
surprise me if it was the month, because they did tell us that Barkley was going to be ready for a while, and then he wasn't.
Yeah, so...
And then again, I don't think I want to see Ross Barkley start a game ever again.
I mean, he will start next week against
Even if he
Leeds.
caught it when he got subbed, I think it took him like 10 minutes to actually reach the bench.
Jesus.
There was a moment like the camera cuts it and he was just sat on the board behind the goal.
Well,
And he took
whatever.
his boots off before he got there. Like, you clearly couldn't give a crap. or just something is not right with you.
Yeah, you never know.
And
Maybe
I don't want him starting games if he's got like that.
you might need a few weeks out of the team, like starting 11, and then he might come back good again. You never know.
Again, Ramsey came off for him and he looked good.
Mm.
Even Sanson came on at the end, and again, why isn't he had more minutes after we signed him?
I think Dean Smith's plan there is to slowly mould him into the team, or mould him into the team, and then within the next week or two, I'll probably see Sanson starting from the go.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen that he's only getting 10 minutes.
Yeah. Elsewhere this weekend, we have had a few more games to talk about. On Friday night, Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Leeds United 1-0 thanks to an Ilan Melier own goal after 64 minutes.
So, should we go? What did you say this game would be?
A goal fest. It definitely wasn't.
Was I right again, or was I right?
Yeah, I'll give you credit there for once
I mean,
you
I
was
said
right
0-0, but I was close enough.
there. Yeah, not the most of
Lucky
entertaining games.
Scotland.
Not the most entertaining games for a Friday night slot. I'll give you that. But it's good to have, well, not good to have Wolves again, but good result for Wolves. They do now jump over Leeds into 11th place, having played a game more than Marcelo Bielsa's side. Again, Leeds' goal difference is practically identical. Scored 40, conceded 43. They really do like having a level score, goal difference. The early game, yes. The early game on Saturday saw Southampton play Chelsea at St Mary's.
Called
Takumi
this one
Minamino, whatever. Did you? Did you say a 1
Did I
draw?
say? I said it would be typical of the Premier League that Southampton actually get a result from this.
Takumi Minamino scored the goal for Ralph Hasenhüttl's side, where he absolutely sat down Cesar Azpilicueta and
It looks as
Eduard
if Liverpool
Mendy.
might miss him.
Definitely do. He's had a good start to life down on the south coast for Ralph Hasenhüttl's side. However, 4 minutes into the second half, Chelsea were awarded a penalty after Danny Ings brought down... I can't even remember who he brought down now.
No idea. But of course, it was
Mason
everyone's
Mount.
favourite midfielder.
He did bring down Mount himself, actually. And Mount converted the penalty. Yeah, not a lot of other talking points of that game, apart from the fact that at half-time he subbed off Tammy Abraham to bring on Callum Hudson-Odoi, and 30 minutes later Hudson-Odoi himself was substituted off, again, both down to poor performances and not having an impact on the game, is what Thomas Tuchel said
attitude.
there. And, well, yeah, he didn't seem to have the attitude to try and make a difference in the game. Which,
wasn't it? It's just a bit with Tuchel, because obviously every job he's been at, hasn't there been a thing where he's had a bit of a disagreement with certain players?
Yeah, I do think there has been a case of that.
I feel like this is starting. This Chelsea one is now starting, because if you'd seen, I think the camera cut at one point to Hudson-Odoi and Abraham on the bench. They were looking at each other. I think Abraham shook his head a little bit. It was like, oh.
Yeah, it'd be really strange to see if that happens.
I mean, let's be honest, he's playing Hudson-Odoi at wing back, and Tammy Abraham isn't getting the service.
Yeah.
Bring Tammy back.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea
We'll
still
happily have him.
Yeah. Chelsea still remain undefeated in the league under Thomas Tuchel, though, so can't really complain there. And as we said, they're in 5th place now, 2 points behind West Ham United. Elsewhere on Saturday, we had Fulham beat Sheffield United in the evening game 1-0 thanks to an Ademola Lookman goal. They really are, especially with the result that happened in Man United Newcastle. They are putting on a proper fight to stay in the league now, aren't they?
They're catching.
I mean, we did say it wouldn't be a surprise if out of the teams that were down in the bottom 3, it would be Fulham that potentially stay up.
Well, there's a show in it.
Yeah. And the final game that took place over this Premier League weekend that has actually happened so far, because we're recording this before Brighton versus Crystal Palace, was Burnley versus West Bromwich Albion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only talking point, Shamir Jai getting sent off, and correct decision from Mike Dean. Elsewhere in the world of football...
Diagne's blue hair.
Yeah, they're talking points. Elsewhere in the world of football, over in Spain, Real Madrid beat Real Valladolid 1-0 thanks to a goal from Casemiro in the second half. After 65 minutes, Atletico Madrid suffered a shock defeat at the hands of Levante. Jorge de Frutos scored in stoppage time, and a Mario Hermoso own goal after half an hour gave Levante the 3 points, and Barcelona could only manage a 1-1 draw with Cadiz after Messi converted a penalty for Barcelona and Alex Fernandez scored an equaliser in the 89th minute. So that leaves a 3-point gap now between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid at the top of the table. However, Atletico Madrid still have a game in hand over Real Madrid, and Barcelona also have a game in hand over their rivals. Over in Italy now...
If I could just add something quick on that. I don't know if you'd seen that they had actually set a date for the Barca president election again.
It's March...
Next week.
Is it?
3rd of March.
3rd of March. Yeah, I was going to say
Wednesday.
no, it's
I feel like the next week's we'd have to do like the proper proof of the actual main front runners.
Yes, and hopefully the results come out quick enough so we can talk about it on our preview show. Over in Italy, on Friday, Fiorentina beat Spezia 3-0. And then no big games happened on Saturday. And on Sunday, obviously, we had the Milan derby, and it was Inter that ran out 3-0 winners thanks to Lautaro Martinez brace and Romelu Lukaku goal to give Antonio Conte's side the 3 points.
Lukaku's 3rd goal.
Beautiful.
And just that just showing Gio, which translates to God, I believe. I don't know if it's, I think he was shouting in the direction of Zlatan.
Wouldn't surprise me after their little clash in the Italian
Cup. They won a piece now.
Yes. So Inter remain top of the table on 53 points, whilst AC Milan are second with 49 points. Roma are in third on 44 after they played a 0-0 draw with Benevento, and Juventus are down in 6th place at the minute, though could jump back up into the top 4 with a win tonight against Crotone at 7:45 UK time. Over in the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich lost to Eintracht Frankfurt 2-1. Daichi Kamada and Amin Younes scored 2 first-half goals for Frankfurt, whilst Robert Lewandowski scored shortly after the break for Bayern Munich. However, not the best result for, obviously, best results for them, losing 2-1. And it got even worse with Leipzig winning 3-0 on Sunday against Hertha Berlin, with Vilmos Orban, Nuri Mukiele and Marcel Sabitzer scoring an absolute thunderbolt of a goal.
That was the goal of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely...
Brian Holmes was good for Huddersfield, but Sabitzer's just floated.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So that now means there's a 2-point gap between Leipzig and Munich at the top of the table. Wolfsburg are in third, and they won 3-0 against Arminia Bielefeld on Friday. And then in the derby of the weekend over in Germany. Borussia Dortmund beat Schalke 4-0 thanks to Erling Haaland brace, Rafael Guerreiro, and a Jadon Sancho goal. I mean, that Erling Haaland goal.
Freak of nature.
Yeah. Absolute beautiful stuff there from
Haaland over Mbappe.
Undecided.
Undecided, I think this weekend proved it.
Still two very class teams. Over in France, on Friday night, Lyon beat Brest 3-0 thanks to goals from Memphis Depay, Houssem Aouar and Lucas Paqueta. Marseille drew 1-1 with Nantes, and then the big game saw PSG take on Monaco, and it was the away side that won 2-0 thanks to a Guillermo Maripán goal and a Sofiane Diop goal to give Monaco the win there, which is again a shock to the system and leaves PSG in third place, 4 points off table toppers Lille, who beat FC Lorient 4-1.
Is it me? Or is the so-called Farmers League actually kind of interesting this year?
Yeah, actually, it's really interesting. I mean, apart from Dijon, who are afoot of the table, everything else is quite close over in France. I mean, there's 6 points difference between Dijon and Nîmes, who are in 19th. But yeah, the rest of the league is quite close and actually interesting for once over in France. Over in Holland, in the Eredivisie, Utrecht beat Willem 6-0 on Friday. AZ Alkmaar beat Triple V Venlo 4-1. And PSV beat Vitesse Arnhem 3-1 thanks to 2 goals from Mario Götze in the space of a couple of minutes later on in the second half there. And Ajax beat Sparta Rotterdam 4-2 thanks to Mohamed Kudus and Sebastian Haller scoring a brace, and Persius also scoring, though they did have a goal disallowed through Dusan Tadic for offside. Right, any more news from around the world of football you can think of before we head over on to Did You See That?
I have nothing news-wise.
What was it? Oh yeah, Cagliari have sacked their manager, Eusebio Di Francesco, a month after giving him a new contract, which is
I remember when he was
strange.
meant to be like the next big thing.
Yes, Bristol Rovers have appointed Jerry Barton as their new manager, which
And it's the other Bristol side of looking to a point.
Nigel Pearson, if I remember correctly.
Give me that derby.
Yes. Bournemouth have given Jonathan Woodgate the job until the end of the season. They did try and appoint Thierry Henry from Montreal Impact, but I don't think the MLS side gave them the permission. And
I wanted that to happen just for the laugh.
I don't think that would have happened.
Just type Thierry Henry in the South Coast.
It really would have been strange. And Real Madrid have ruled out Karim Benzema for this week's Champions League clash with Atalanta due to an injury, and he's not fit enough to recover for the trip to Birmingham this coming Wednesday, which again we said we have more Champions League games than we spoke about on the preview. In women's football, we've had the first 2 games of the She Believes Cup, Friday night and Sunday. The USA are top of the group after winning their games against Canada and Brazil 1-0 apiece. So that gives them 6 points. Brazil are in second after they beat Argentina 4-1, but obviously lost 1-0 to USA. And then yesterday, Canada beat Argentina thanks to a Sarah Stratigakas goal in the 92nd minute. And it also was announced that, or not announced, but yesterday, Sunday, marked 500 days until the start of the Women's Euros here in England in 2022. So that is a good thing to look forward to, and fans can now register for priority news about tickets going on sale on the UEFA website. Right, it's on to Did You See That now?
Oh, you missed it! I do not believe what I've just seen! Very interesting! Oh!
Something weird is going on.
see that?
Yes, I was worried then my audio might have revealed what I have. But over the years, we've been blessed with Englishmen trying to speak the native accent.
Steve McLaren trying to do his Dutch accent.
That's Steve. Okay.
Steve McLaren doing his Dutch accent in how you say the Champions League. We had Joey Barton trying to do a French accent whilst at Marseille.
And this weekend graced us with Jadon Sancho now fully integrating himself into the German culture with this beauty.
We know what we're capable of, and the recent weeks haven't been so good and we haven't got the result we wanted, but I think we showed the fans in the last 2 games that we're still fighting and it's not over to the end. And we just keep working on the pitch week in, week out.
Where is he from?
He's definitely English, though that accent couldn't be less English.
What part of England is he from? Is he in London?
I
That makes
believe
that
so.
even more shocking.
He sounded more French than German, if you ask me.
He's from Camberwell in London.
I mean, Camberwell, Camembert, French. I mean,
Next to Peckham? How do you sound? How have you gained a German accent when you're when you came from an area right next to Peckham?
yeah, I don't know. It was an awful attempt at a German accent. Like I said, it sounded more French than German, so I think he should just stick to the English language for now.
Oh, Scheisse.
Yes. Any more for you? Did you have another one?
I don't. No, I don't.
Well, I have one for you. So
You had one?
last night in Brazil, in the top division, there was a game between Atletico Mineiro and Sporting Recife. Now, it's said to be Atletico Mineiro's manager Jorge Sampaoli's second last game in charge, as he's set to take over Marseille. Right? Nothing unusual there. Now, Mineiro did run out 3-2 winners in the game. However, there was a penalty incident quite late on for Sporting Recife, and they were awarded the penalty and scored it. However, in the process of the penalty, Sampaoli was annoyed with the decision. He then came onto the pitch to have a go at the referee about it. The referee then sends him off, so that means he will miss his last game in charge for them. And if I do remember correctly, he was trying to be escorted down the tunnel and then started fighting with security and the people trying to send him down the tunnel. So explain.
I will love him.
Exactly. It's an absolutely incredible sense. I will retweet the 2 videos onto the Off the Crossbar Twitter page so you can see the 2 incidents. But yeah, they are absolutely incredible scenes from what happened in Brazil last night.
How do you think that's gone in his interview with Marseille?
I mean,
Just I like your fight.
exactly. It's absolutely
He's shown
crazy.
passion. He's shown aggression.
Absolutely crazy. Right. I believe that is everything from Around the World of Football. We'll be back later on this week to wrap up the Champions League games and preview the forthcoming weekend fixtures, where we have a big one, which is Manchester United versus Chelsea to look forward to, and any other fixtures across the Premier League. Before we do leave, though, before I forget, we obviously had the Predictions League, which I very nearly forgot about this week. So the games were Liverpool, Everton, West Ham, Spurs, Brighton, Palace, which hasn't happened, but we'll talk about that on our review show if any of us get any points. Preview show, should I say. PSG, Monaco, Dortmund versus Schalke, and the Milan derby. So Liverpool, Everton, we were both wrong, but Brad gets a point for predicting 2-0 to Everton, 2-0 result. And we said if you get the score right, you get a point, but the wrong team. West Ham, Spurs, I get 3 points there for getting a perfect score. Brad gets nothing. PSG versus Monaco, we were both right. I get 2 points for predicting Dortmund to win against Schalke. Brad gets 3 for a perfect score, and then
We need to talk about the absolute genius I am.
Brad gets
You
2
laughed at me.
points. 2 points for predicting that Inter Milan would beat AC Milan. So that puts Brad on to 71 points, and I'm on 97. So I'm getting ever so closer now to the 100-point mark.
Do you remember what it was we said? I should get bonus points for. It was the Lukaku brace, wasn't it?
Did you say that?
I swear I did. Look, we searched this back. I said you said I wouldn't get the bonus points, but I think Lukaku gets a brace. I deserve bonus points for predicting that.
Yeah, I do remember you saying something similar. I don't know.
Just hit me. He did score a brace, didn't he?
Was it him? I thought it was Lautaro Martinez that scored the brace.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was Martinez that scored the brace. So
Oh, damn it.
doesn't matter. Yeah. So we've both had, you've had obviously a really good week, closed the gap a bit, but obviously plenty to look forward to. And with the results today in the Palace game, I could obviously get a lot closer to you. And that is all we have time for this week. Obviously, we'll be back later on this week to preview, as we were just mentioning, the Premier League fixtures and a look back at the Champions League from midweek. And until then, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from my co-presenter, Brad.
See ya.
And we'll see you soon.